Okay, so I'm going to draw the what we're calling here the bearing base. And so we're looking at these radiuses and how do you show that? You show it. And so what I'm going to do is, rather than start from scratch, this is the project before it, which was the anchor base. So I've already got all these layers here. Rather than start all over, I think what I'm going to do, the best thing to do is just go ahead and I'll just say file. I'm going to save this as, obviously you want to save it where you need to, but I'll go ahead and save this as my bearing base, right? So that's I'll change this to bearing. All right, and then what I'll do is I'm just going to delete everything here, right? So I've changed this, construction lines and everything, right? So now I'll build this and I'll say this is going to be my front, obviously the top, and then I'll draw the right view here. Okay, so let's go ahead then and I'll go to my draw. I'm going to go draw a construction line. It's going to be vertical. It's going to start at 0, 0, and then push enter. I could do the offset here. Let's just go ahead and draw the horizontal one. So horizontal, again, 0, 0, and that's that. And so now, if you notice, I have this in the wrong layer. So let's go ahead and put this into my construction line layer. And let's turn the construction line and make this my active layer, right? So there it is. Now I'm going to build this. So let's just do something kind of quick on this. Let's go ahead and start with this. I'm going to offset this. So I would type in offset through I'm going to just kind of make the overall size now. So let's just say select the object. I'm going to make this 5 inches. I'm going to just draw the overall object for now. And that we don't really know the scale right now. And then let's draw the top of this. So I'll just hit enter twice and offset distance, through, select the object here. Actually, I could have typed that in. The height of this is 2.5 inches. So that's where this is going to be contained in. And then let's go ahead and just create the top view. So I'll type in offset again. Select the distance. I'll make this 2 inches apart. Select the line here. And there it is. I'm going to push enter again. It's already default. Select the object, 2 inches here. And then let's go again, enter. Now the top view is going to be 4 inches. All right, that's going to be the overall size of it. Select the object to offset, 4 inches. I'm going to put, just keep hitting enter. All right, so I should be able to take a line here. This is going to be 45 degree. And, it's probably not a bad idea before I get too involved here to turn on my dimensioning, make that my center line. And I need to turn it off from before. Didn't have it off before, so let's turn these off. All right, so now what I'll do is, I probably have those hidden lines on too. Let's just get rid of those. So lesson here is when you save it from another one, turn all the layers off and then delete it. All right, so we're good here. So let's go ahead though on our dimension. Let's just dimension this real quick so we have a sense of make sure everything looks right. So we said that this is going to be 2.5 inches, and that's correct. Push enter twice, and then I'll do the same down here. 5 inches looks good. All right, and then let's do this one here, top view. And just by definition, this should also be 5 inches. Okay, so there we go. That looks good. That's where everything's going to be. Now let's go ahead and just start analyzing this a little bit more detail. So I need to add some lines. So let's go ahead and do the front view, which is going to be from this this view. And let's go to our, we're going to be working. I think actually, let me just double check here. I don't think I need it on the offset, need to have that layer selected, but let's see what happens here. So what I'm doing is I'm going to build that half circle. Let's just, for my sake of sanity here, let's just put that halfway in between. We're just, because it doesn't tell us, we have to assume that's symmetrical. So that means that it would be in 2.5 inches from either side. So I'll type in 2.5, enter, select the object, and there we go. And so let's just verify that real quick here. Okay, so that's where, that'll make it easier for me because then I can draw my U shape. So let's go ahead in the center. I could go to the layer and do it, but let's go ahead and do the construction. So we'll then say offset. And we're going to say, okay, it's telling us that the radius is 1 inch. So the distance is going to be 1 inch. So I'll type in 1. Select the center of this line and move it over here. Push enter twice, 3 times. All right. That's the inside. The outside radius is 1.5. So that's going to be, half of that is going to be 0.75. Is that right? Make sure I'm doing this right. That's the rate. No, the radius is 1.5. Sorry. So just 1.5. Select this line here, there, and hit enter 3 times, 1.5. And then let's do the bottom of this. So I'll push enter, 1.5. That'll be fine. And we'll kind of work backwards. I probably should have done that. And then this one's going to be 1 inch. So I could have done that earlier, but we're good here. So essentially, let's just, before I get too carried away, let's just verify what we're doing here. So I'm going to go to object, turn that as my main. Let's just draw this line here. We're going to come down here. I'm going to draw the overall object, but I'm going to have to stop right there. Enter again, and I'm going to have to stop right there, I think. And let's go ahead and draw. We could do an arc, I think. Do we do an arc or just you'll probably do a arc? I should think about this a little bit more. I'd say, let's see what happens. Start, center, end. Center. Yeah, I'm going upside down. It would work if I was doing it. I could mirror this. So I probably need to spend more time on that. Okay, so let's just go through this. So let's just go ahead and make a, we'll go circle radius, snap it here, come to the bottom, and then I'd say trim. Now, the only thing is, because the construction's aligned there, it's not going to trim. Let's just turn it off and say trim. And we'll just trim, let's see, trim, T-R-I-M, enter. There we go. Okay, so construction line's back on. I'm still working in my object, so we'll just finish this off. So there is a question here that people have on the fillet. If you notice, if you notice the fillet is a, it says it's got a radius of 2.5. So if that was the case, what we would do then is add a construction line here. So we would say offset this line, distance 0.25. That's the radius. And I'd say like this. And then I'd come here. And I draw another circle. So there's some debate on this. Some people do it. And honestly, I need to look at see what the industry standard is. Because right now it's going to look a little confusing to anybody. But let me go ahead and turn the construction line off so I can trim this very quickly. Trim. Come on, trim, please. T-R-I-M. Let's try to do the other. All right. And so let's just keep working this. Let's go to the top view here. And so let's create this top view. So I could very easily just go ahead here and I guess we could do it with a rectangle here and then trim it. Just see what happens here. All right, so that's the top view. And I could use the rectangle again. I'm going rather quickly here. So now I need to build the more construction lines. So let's go at type an offset. Here's this, the distance I'm going to go. So this is going to be, I know from the drawing here that it's actually 2 inches. So but from the end, we said the whole thing is 4. So it's going to be 1 inch. So I'll say offset. Let's do that again. Offset. It's going to be 1 inch. Select the object right there. Hit and enter. 1 inch. And then I'm going to draw this here. But I've got to draw this U in there. So it's really important that I include that. So let's, I'm going to be trimming this anyway, but let's go ahead. I'm just going to draw it from the lines. It might be a little easier here. I'm going to need to put a radius there though, right? So just be aware of that. Hopefully we'll make this work. Okay, so it's getting a little busy for me. Let's turn some of these lines off. Let's turn the construction line off and see where we are. Now I do need to trim this and I need to add a radius. So let's type in trim. Am I doing that correct? I think I am. So let's type in fillet. All right, enter, select the first object, second object. That's not the distance. Let's do that again. I must have missed in the command line. So let's say radius here, and the radius is going to be 0.25 because that's what it tells us it is. Enter, and then we'll do it. And I'm going to just keep hitting enter. Let's try that again. Come on. Set first object. There we go. Sorry, you got to read your right. So need that, and then I'm going to push enter again. First object. Okay, I think that's good. And so you'll notice that's the radius. So if I turn the construction line on, you'll see that's what we're seeing. All right. So turn the construction line off there. Now I don't need this line here. So let's go ahead and do trim again. And again, it's hard when you've got the construction lines because it actually will stop where the construction lines are. So that can be rather challenging. Okay. I think that looks good. So I do want to dimension this, but 4 inches. So we could verify some things here, but I think we're good. Let's just verify some of these radiuses. Probably should have done that a little earlier. No, I wouldn't necessarily do this arc, but I would do this one. So I could say the outer one is radius 1.5 and the inner one is 1 inch. That looks good. So you typically wouldn't, because typically what you're going to see here is that's probably a weld in some cases, or they're cutting it out of a block. But you would want to say, like the drawing is, that there's a radius there. Okay, so that looks good. You could probably put a radius here, though. I just kind of contradicted myself there. All right, so let's build the front view. So that's the front, top, and the right view. Let's turn the construction line on here. So the nice thing about this is what I should do is I could measure it. It's probably the better way to do it, but I could also, offset. So I recommend that you think about it and not do this, which would be select the object and, like, for example, offset or draw a line. So one way of doing it is you come in here, your construction line, and I would just snap here. We want to be in the correct layer. Properties, put this in my construction. I think you're better off though going offset, select the object here. Let's do that again because I didn't tell. All right, and so this is going to be for the front, it should snap right on that line. That looks good. And I'm getting myself a little confused, but we're going to need the center of this. So let's go ahead and put another line in here. I'm going to just go ahead and type an offset. It's going to be half of 4 inches. So I will make that 2 inches. And I will say that is that line. And then I need to know the height of this. It's 1 inch. So maybe I can just dimension this just to verify. Yeah, that's not the one. So let's see, is that it? Yeah, that's it right there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw that hole and that square. So let's go ahead and draw the overall object, and then I'll just trim the heck out of it. So let's just go ahead to the rectangle. I'm kind of cheating here. I'm trying to save time. All right, and so now let's put that onto my, that would be on my dimension. All right, and let's draw. So I'm looking at it from this angle. Let's draw another rectangle. And let's draw a circle. And this one will go circle diameter. It should, whenever you draw a circle, if it's half a circle, you should dimension it as a radius. But if it's a full circle, it should be in diameter. So I should probably put a construction line in there so we could draw a hidden line. So let's make this. This is a diameter is 0.75. All right. So that looks good. Now I know I need to make the object so it's there. So what I'll do is let's take my line tool. I'm in object. I'm going to essentially go here, over, push enter. And so that line looks off. Let's check what that should be. That's 1 inch radius. So that should be, the whole thing is 2.5. So that should be 1 inch. What is the radius of that? So something's off here. Let's delete that. Let's do that again. So here's the problem I'm seeing. Yeah, so that was probably right. The problem that we have is I did that too quickly. So let's do, these are, that looks good. I'm not sure if it has memory residual, but let's do that again. So we'll go circle radius from here, and that's going to be 1 inch. And let's trim that. All right, I was trying to be cute there. So let's just verify that again. So that's what it's doing. It's that's what the memory is. So really, what you should do is let's just double check this again. All right. Okay, so that's good. Radius 1. So then now what I'm going to be doing is drawing this object. Now I'll do the hidden lines next, but that would be from here over. Got that. This would be a hidden line. And then we're going to, let's go ahead and trim this. Again, you should probably turn the construction lines off because it just makes it a little challenging. So let's turn the construction lines off. All right, construction lines off, trim. Let's get what we don't need. And I do need this one, but I'm going to have to put some fillets in there, and I don't need this one, and I don't need this one. So then type in fillet. And first object is going to be, well, it's going to be the same radius. It's already defaulted on that. So there you go. Enter again. That looks good. I'm going to have it on the top. So that looks good. Now, a couple things I'm going to need to put hidden lines in here and center lines. But let's go to our hidden line. Let's make this our active layer. Let's put some hidden lines in here. Probably best to turn on the construction lines. And so I need to draw the inside here. I'll go line. It's in hidden line, so it should just default there. There's one. Let's see, we've got a lot more. I've got this the circle running the length of the part. So that would be here. So let's go ahead, and I didn't put that in for the construction line, but I can just go ahead and offset it right now. See if that's going to work. So let's take the, we're going to do it from the bottom. It's 1 inch. So I'm going to type in 1 is my distance. This is the object here, and go 1. Try that again. Offset distance, enter. Select the object. And so why is that? Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. So that line would actually be 3/4. That's right. So enter, do it one more time. The through, the object would be here. The distance is, I could snap it, but let's just be sure. 0.75. Am I doing my math right? Well, let's just go like this then. Let's go enter. There's the object. It's coming down at half of, so it's going to be 3/8 or 0.375. Enter, do the same thing and snap it there, 0.375. So the reason why I did that, then I'm going to have to do the same thing here in the top view. All right, and I'm being a little lazy here. I could make the center line and offset here, but let's go ahead and offset this one. So let's go like this. Let's see if we can do this. So I'm in construction is my, all right, take a line here, and I would snap it right here and come horizontal, enter, and let's just go offset. And this is the object. I'm going to come up at, it's a diameter of 0.375. So I'll go 0.75, 0.75, not 375, sorry. Okay, so if that's right, so we're good here. So then I'll go back to our hidden line here, turn that on, and then make a line that goes all the way through. So you know, you could just go up, just visually go up and then over. That looks good. Okay, so for the hidden lines, I think I'm good. Let's turn the construction lines off and see how we're doing. All right, so it's also going to need to be here too. I missed that, so let's get that on there. Too many lines here. So then what I would do, again, I'm going to be in my hidden line. I'm already there, so I'm going to come over here, the bottom, and come over. Enter, enter again, and that's going to be the top here, which is there. Lots of lines. Again, the reason why this is so advantageous to use the construction lines is it actually makes it much faster. Oh, I didn't need to stop there. Let's do that again. Control Z. I stopped too early. Okay, so that looks good. Again, you just kind of got to turn off your lines and inspect it. I'm sure I'm missing some things. Boy, that sure is close as a machine part. There's not a lot of distance there. They're lucky they didn't cut through it, but I think I've got all my hidden lines. So then I would add, you know, I could add more center line dimensions. So let's turn the center line on. It's my active one. Oh, sorry. Let's make this my active center line. So you could do center line here. Let's turn the construction line on, but the center line is still active. So we could come up here, and I'm kind of cheating here because that should be a construction line. Yeah, so let's make that a construction line. So we'll go offset, enter. The distance is going to be it's going to be half 0.375, half of 3/4. And this is going to be the line. All right, so I'll make that my center line now. Center line is active. And let's come over here, back it off a little bit, come over. You always should go through the part. It's my center line. I could do the same here. So typically you don't dimension hidden lines, but I'm just showing you how to do this. So believe it or not, the rule is you never dimension a hidden line. But let's just do this anyway here, just so we can see what's going on. And then I would draw, now, believe it or not, a center line. Let's put the snap in here. So select the circle, go to my dimension, center mark, make sure that's there. Let's turn the construction line off and see that it's there. Let's try that again. There it is. Okay, so it's on. And so now I could add dimensions on this. So for example, you probably, if you were dimensioning this, a couple things I would do is, first of all, I would go to my format, dimension style. Let's just be consistent with the drawing that we're seeing here. So let's go precision to the hundredths. And then we also want to turn the leading. If you notice, it doesn't say 0.75, it just says 0.75. And say, okay, the arrows look good. The scale looks okay. Set current, close. There we go. So let's just kind of finish this off. I'm probably, going rather quickly, so I'm probably missing some things, but let's just add some lines here. So so now I would dimension everything. And so I'd be coming off here and I'd be coming off this bottom line here. If I'm trying to be consistent with what our book is doing. And right now I need to turn this to our let's take this one and turn this to our dimension. Let's make them dimension our active layer. There we go. So I already had it there, believe it or not. What was that for? Okay, so let's turn this one off. I think I was just checking it. And so I could then go through here and just try to follow the dimensions that I'm seeing in the book. I'll just do that rather quickly. And then I'll call this a day. So it says 2 inches there. I'm just going to put some basic dimensions on here. I'm not going to go crazy, but I want to just show all the dimensions that it shows. I notice I need to change some of these. Yeah, so a couple more here, 5 inches. So what I might do at this point is be a little bit more consistent here, snapping to my object where I need to. So I've got the radius. Now you don't need, if you're showing it in all views, you don't need to show it. You don't need to, in dimensioning, less is more. So remember, when you're dimensioning, you don't want to over dimension. You just want to have all the dimensions that you need, but without going overboard on it. All right. So, all right, just a couple more dimensions to go. That looks good. Okay, so I could add some more lines here with my dimensions. Let's just clean this up real quickly. And so, okay. I'm just basically following what the book is doing right now. Just want to have all these in here. So 2.5. I think we're pretty much there. I've got the radiuses shown. I'm not showing everything. I would want to say Fillette's radius. You could, if you wanted to, you might want to just, if you weren't going to state that, you could put that radius here. If you just show the one, it's going to imply that they're all the same. So that would be fine to do for what we're doing here. All right, so I just want to be sure I have everything covered here. I've got the radiuses. Since I have the radiuses here, I don't need to show this opening because it's implied by that. You typically never dimension hidden lines anyway. I just show the center line to show it's going all the way through. There's probably a couple more dimensions I could add here. So, you know, I could add the more traditional center line dimensioning and probably clean that up a little bit. All right, so I think I have just about everything here. Let's see, is there anything else I'm missing here before I stop this? So save this. Hold on, please. Hang on, please. All right, so let's go ahead and stop the recording. All right, there's probably a couple things I've missed here, but I'm just going to go ahead and stop this so we can, my class can talk about this right now. All right.